Yeah, I get what you're saying.
If
That's
we're
cool.
gonna make the relationship work, I gotta let you have your thing.
See, now I'm actually trying to think of music now. Like, I don't think you understand. You got me on a kick now. Fucking.
We could just go like full the other direction and just like recreate Mamma Mia, invite tons and tons of people, and have like a big dance scene at the end.
I like the start of this a lot, Susanna.
Oh yeah, fucking I like Infected Mushroom. I love their shit. Some of their R&B albums and stuff are a little bit hit and miss, but
Oh hell yeah, I could do this.
we can listen to Ken. If you like Infected Mushroom, we can listen to that we can have that at the wedding.
Yeah, that could be present.
Something like that can.
Although-
like I like it abrasive, but also like vaguely melodic. I don't really know how
Vaguely melodic. Ugh. I'm just trying to think of anything vaguely melodic.
I love hearing like island accents and different genres of music. Like this Infected Mushroom stuff. Or when they do like Jamaican rock bands are the shit.
Yeah, I like the Infected Mushroom like genre, like other than when they're doing their R&B more stuff, like it's like full on psytrance, which is this like beautiful blending of like heavy metal and Goa, which is just like, who would expect that those things would go so well together?
Infected Mushroom has some good shit.
Yeah, I can't believe I've never heard of them until right now.
What? Really?
Yeah, until right now. Yeah.
Really?
Thank you.
Yeah, their newest album has some interesting stuff. I like Yarmulkes in Space.
I'll be listening to them tomorrow a lot. I'll try and check them out.
Yeah, I'm not really into
They're
like
an Israeli based group, I think.
I'm not really
Yeah.
into like vocals or lyrics.
Yeah,
Well, that's the
what was-
thing about Infected Mushroom. Like, some
Yeah.
of their songs are more vocal heavy, but a lot of them, like,
Right.
this is one of their albums where they had a little bit more, they experiment with different genres. Like, this one they're mixing in, like, definitely some, like, reggae and, like, R&B stuff.
I actually like a lot of the older stuff better.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love their album covers.
Yeah, they always do interesting stuff. I've been to one of their live shows, and that was pretty good.
I also saw them live.
Yeah, I saw them in Fort Collins here in Colorado. It was actually really low key. I was surprised there weren't more people. It was kind of like,
What? It was insane, yeah. It was fun. They're actually
Zach,
really good live.
please tell me this would be acceptable.
I like it so far.
That's chill.
Dead astronauts.
19 views.
Yeah, this would be nice.
Just trying to pick something that had sort of a more night vibe dance theme to it, but wasn't also. No,
Are we gonna have like torches or like LEDs for like our lighting?
dude, both.
Okay.
Like LEDs main.
Let's have UV LEDs. Also,
Oh, what's that?
we should have some UV lights in some of the areas.
UV.
Yeah,
But you just have LED.
Why UV and not blacklight?
same thing.
Really?
Blacklight is just like, it's right on the boundary, right? Like around 400 nanometers wavelength.
Okay.
Well, I really do need to go to bed. Holy shit. Good night, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, figos.
But yeah, no, I'm definitely down with blacklights.
Also, the added benefit is that if you have a bunch of black lights, it's going to be a much more sanitary wedding because all the bacteria is going to get killed.
But it'll get exposed first. It'll be like, okay, who came on the cake?
Don't worry, it's clean.
It's been purified by the holy power of Jesus. I'd like for a priest to be there because we need to sacrifice something.
What? What'd you say?
I was making a joke saying I would want for a priest to be there, but then I said because we need to sacrifice something.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there's the question of like the whole, like the person doing the
Wait,
marrying.
I didn't think we were going the hoods route. Are we still? Are we?
No, as I said, it was a joke.
I don't know.
Really going the hood route.
It was a double joke. Okay.
Okay. I feel like instead of having a priest, we should just like have a stolen totem.
Okay.
Like just some random native tribe, just like steal their totem and then have that be the priest.
No. We have it like custom made, right? We might as well make this into a significant ritual, right? If it's going to be something as significant as marriage, we might as well turn it into like a powerful like magical ritual. So we should create the totem.
Turn our masturbation addiction into financial success.
So we got to like create the totem ourselves and channel our like thought form into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the UV lights are going to show just how much we channeled into it.
And as far as for the consummation room, right? I've got anal beads on the list. What else should I add on the list?
I like the idea of anal beads being the only eating utensils.
The only eating utensils that people are trying to eat with like these beads.
Time to cut the cake. Just bring out a.
Or
badge.
we could just have like, it could just be like flexible kebabs, like the food, just like everything looks like anal beads, but it's like edible.
See, I was thinking it's time to cut the cake, and somebody just brings out a bad dragon dildo and just starts smacking the cake with it.
Smacks the cake with this huge ass fucking dildo. It's cut.
I have the feeling that the further we plan this, the more people are gonna want to come.
It's gonna become like a Pornhub featured like event. I've always wondered, like, if YouTube gets like too bad with like the oppressive ad stuff, like YouPorn could just be like, if you guys want to fucking post non-pornographic videos on our site, like our advertisers don't give a shit, like obviously. Everyone should just plan a mass exodus from YouTube to like YouPorn or XTube. It'd be awesome.
I feel like some YouTubers would make the transition better than others.
Yeah. Talking with famous people, we just put it on XTube. You'd probably get more views.
Yeah. So then who's being invited? Because I don't really want my family to come.
Well, yeah, definitely our families are not invited to this wedding.
Yeah.
the cutting the cake with the dildo is just step too far.
I think I'm off to bed, guys.
Okay, I see how it is.
All right, later.
I'm slightly sad because I'm like, will he still want to marry me in the morning? When he's sober. You only love me when you're drunk.
I have this one and one more left. So that had nothing to do with anything you said. I actually haven't drank in a while. I'm surprised that I'm not like more fucked up.
Uh-huh. Yeah, my it didn't help much, but my general neuroticism last time I drank it kept the drunk at bay just a bit.
What happened? Other than you staring at people. If that was the only time.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. That's what I'm saying. I didn't I drank a bit. It wasn't like as much as Nick. Nick fucking hammered bourbon till he got slap happy. But
Slap happy. What the fuck?
yeah,
Did you get slapped?
no, he didn't actually get slap happy is a term.
Yeah, it sounds like he wants to slap someone.
Yeah, but no, it's
It's more like just irrationally happy because someone's drunk. It's like a kind of giddiness, like slap hat. I don't know.
like
Like
just
slap
take,
your knee or something?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know where it actually comes from, the etymology.
I mean, the weirdest I got was obviously vacuuming his kitchen, trying to clean his room. I did try to draw that really sloppy pair of tits on his whiteboard.
What?
It just looked like really sad eyes.
But why did that experience make you not want to drink again?
Oh well, But bottom line is, it didn't. It did the few days afterwards, but then again, it was like that was hangover time. Not just from that one experience, I learned you're not supposed to ask me directly afterwards
Ask you what?
whether or not I wanted to do that. Like you can ask me now, and I would say yes, I would do that again.
Yeah, but why not right after? I don't see your point.
Well, because I was hungover.
For days?
No, I was hungover for one day, but then it takes me a minute to process the existential despair, which
Why-
that lasted a few days.
Like, why?
Because questions of whether or not I am doing the right thing permeate my mind.
Doing the right thing. You went drinking one night.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. Like that won't save
Welcome
me.
to the world of an NI Dom.
Yeah, that doesn't that doesn't save me from hellfire. You were just drinking. Tell that to God.
You need to
Hey,
believe that or
Ken,
something.
when we're married, can we go to like a yoga class on a regular basis so that we both like stay really hot?
I mean, yeah, if you can, I don't want to put all the weight on you, but if you could help motivate me from time to time, that would be helpful.
I think we could co-motivate for something like hot yoga.
Or you can just not start feeding each other.
You call
but-
me fat?
We're also going to be developing some flexibility so that we can, continue to develop our kinks and stuff and never get bored, And eventually we're going to run into some flexibility issues, so we might as well just like...
Flexibility issues.
Yeah.
Neptune wouldn't like me because I'd keep getting drunk and then crawl into his bed and be like, "No, you're not in the right bed. Get out."
Wait, who? What?
Neptune wants us to adopt him and then neglect him.
Can guys scissor?
Guys,
but it's fucking awful, like smashing your balls into each other.
I mean, when guys are horny, anything's possible.
I mean, flexibility issues. Like, where would that be?
Well, like as things evolve, right, and we start, exploring different kinks, like eventually there's going to be this thing where it's like, I don't know, like I just have a feeling that like flexibility is just always a good thing in a sexual relationship. I don't know. I mainly just wanted an excuse to like go to yoga so I can like exercise.
If we're doing yoga, I don't know how interested you are in it, but I want to mix martial arts in there too.
Oh yeah, we could do some. Yeah, definitely. We need to.
And I'd want to do something full contact because I got too much testosterone.
Okay. Also, like we got to work out the ambition stuff. So like, I want to work on this like synthetic enzyme thing. Like, what's your
My
life
ambitions?
goal? Yeah, if you have one.
Probably in the realm of artistic creative pursuits, like with music or artwork or stuff like that. And then
That could complement well, keep me grounded, and
I was also going to say some more sensor-based stuff, like to learn some construction skills, at least enough that way I could build at least part of a house or
See,
do home repair.
that'd be good. Like I know I've the house that my parents live in right now. Like basically, I helped them build the whole thing, so I could confer some of
Nice.
that knowledge with you.
Nice.
You can help keep me like from being like too TI heavy. Bringing me
Uh-huh.
down a little bit. Yeah, I could.
One of the things I'd be
Yeah.
worried about though. One of the things I'd be worried about though is that with the whole like NI groove that you're in right now.
Oh yeah, we
if
might
you-
get like too divorced from reality. Like
No, I was gonna say if you get out of that, like if that's your demonstrative, then you might find yourself advocating. Well, like the NI stuff's nice, but and then advocating things in more any direction, which would perhaps piss me off. And I think
I don't know. As long as I don't stay stressed, like like that's something to consider. Yeah.
so. I just need to supply you with drugs. That's what it sounds like. I just need to keep you drugged the whole marriage. It'll work out. Yeah, see you later. Whatever.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it would come to that. Like, I feel like maybe you could just like keep me drugged on the like the sexual experiences. Like,
Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know how much you'll like me. I gotta get the body hair issue under wraps.
oh,
Probably.
it's not a big deal. Like, I've seen like I've been with so many guys. Like, I don't know.
So many. Just
There's like
25 at least.
it's like the physical, physical stuff is nice, like being in shape and stuff. Like, but I don't know. Like, it's a lot more about the vibe that I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I've kind of come full circle. Like,
Masculine for masculine.
mask for mask. You date a yoga instructor? I don't know. There was like this one. What time I was like in the changing room with my friend, and like we were like the two youngest people there, and it's like I think the yoga instructor was like trying to catch like a glimpse of our genitals. Like he kept poking his head in the locker room, like, "You guys ready yet?" We're just like.
They just seem like they would cheat on every single one of their life partners.
Yoga instructor.
Yeah, I would not trust them at all.
Yeah, I kind of got the vibe because the other yoga instructor was like his wife, and I was like, this guy's like coming into the men's locker room, looking around and going, "You guys ready yet?" Like, I feel like he's just like never has sex with his wife and just.
There's like a very specific type of person that becomes a yoga instructor, and I do not like that type of person. You can go to yoga, that's fine, whatever. But
I feel like in that case, the only thing keeping me from becoming a yoga instructor is the flexibility.
Mm.
No. One thing I was going to ask is, I don't know how you feel about like poly stuff.
I was actually about to ask that. Like, I'd be totally down to like let other people like come into our, life or whatever.
I'm not sure how I would feel about like a full partnership going another
Oh
way.
no, just like sexual, like,
Uh-huh.
like I don't think I'd be down for like a committed like triad or something. That'd be kind of weird. But like definitely like, you got to be realistic about people's sexual needs. Like sometimes things can get a little boring. You gotta spice it up.
I'd kind of understand if like they just worked really well. I kind of don't understand the concept of no, we're not allowed to do that on based on some sort of rule. or
Oh,
something.
like principle.
It's like-
Like yeah, like if someone came around and it was like, oh, this seems like it's kind of work, but it's like hard enough to like get two people to work. Like I feel sometimes. Like so you just-
it's common for two tops to become life partners and fuck everyone except each other. Well, because I mean, honestly, in some ways, I feel like there's a dynamic that can be tapped into that probably was more common in tribal, like prehistoric times. Not so much now, which is like the I feel like brotherly love is sort of a weird concept now that's not really
Yeah, I got you.
understood as much.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not saying that's what I would limit it to, but
Right.
it's like just like that whole concept of like, hey, like here's this person. It's like, if I were to see, a chick that I really liked, and like if things were going well with her, it's like in that dynamic, I'd be like, oh, there's this other person that I really love.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't think it would. I wouldn't be like emotion. Like I wouldn't like demand to like complete 100% emotional commitment. Because like if anything, like I feel like you would need a little bit more than I can.
Cuddling.
Yeah, like I love to cuddle and shit, but like I don't know. Like I feel like that you would at some point like maybe need a little bit more than I do, but
I don't know if it's instinctual or if it's cultural upbringing or whatnot, but I have occasional desires to conquer something. But
well, you see, I'm actually pretty versed. Like if you wanted to conquer me, like you could every once in a while. I have quite the anal capacity, so you can make it as fun as you want. I mean, what?
I almost oh hi Kit Kats. Oh, I'm sitting here thinking, I was like, God damn, why can't relationships be like this more often? Just like where you're like, hey, let's talk about this reasonably, like adults. Like, let's see what our actual needs are, and then try to.
It's like an RPG stat. It's like
anal capacity.
There's actually this video game. What's it called? It's like a web-based browser that's like way over the top, where like it's like an RPG, but like every battle like results in like some kind of sexual interaction because it's like. Hold on, let me find it. It's fucking hilarious.
Nep. I think a good like what is it? Like 80s Knight Rider style band. I think a good name for that would be Anal Capacitor. Yeah. Mega Anal Capacitor. Mac. Maybe.
Mega anal capacitor. God, I cannot remember the name of this game. It's like a text-based RPG where like every interaction is like. It's like some of the like every time you defeat an enemy, it's like you have an option to like rape them, but when you lose, like, you're raped. It's like way over the top, like. But then like it always turns into like, but it turns out they like it, or it's like it turns out you like it. Like it's never like. Oh, I can't find it. I'll think of it.
I'm actually kind of depressed that we're not getting married now.
I mean, maybe we could, you know.
Keep it on the table.
Yeah.
There's an option.
We'll see if I still have a half chub tomorrow.
It's just very neurotically try to think of very NI things to say to attract you.
Neptune's like, what is this sexual energy? I've never real.
Honestly, I feel like I can speak more sexually confidently when I'm being kind of almost formal like this, like in its agreement, or something. I feel like as far as like sexual energy goes, like I'm shit with that. But as far as like nailing down specifics, I'm like, yeah, no, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. Actually, have you ever even been with a dude? Out of curiosity.
I've never been with anyone.
Really? You're
No.
you're virgin.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by that. It's like
I
maybe
don't.
it's
I don't
your-
leave the house
like
much.
your solo play has gone to the point where you no longer register as a virgin. That's the only conclusion I could come to from this.
I don't know.
Your fetish library must be dense indeed.
It's not like NE extensive. I'd say it's a bit more thematic.
All right.
It's not like, like I'm beating off to midgets covered in ranch dressing. It's not really
I got
that
you.
point. But
It's got so much more exciting now that you're a virgin. That first night is going to be something.
it's gonna be fucking autistic and awkward. Is what it's gonna be. I'm just gonna be like sitting there like a possum, like don't hurt me. And you're gonna
Don't
be
hurt me.
like, what was it? No, I was gonna say for me, a lot of like, I mean, as far as like porn goes or stuff like that, a lot of the fantasizing seems to revolve around power play and some dynamic.
Right. I don't know. Maybe I could get comfortable with that role if that's your thing.
Perhaps.
It's just like my only experience is like there was this one guy that was like, he wanted me to like talk dirty to him and then like kick him in the nuts and like force him to like suck my dick, and I was like, I don't know if I can be like that level of dominant. Like I couldn't take it seriously, so I like couldn't do it.
For me, it's two dynamics. It's like the power play thing, and then there's a direct connection to emotionality. It's like almost more than the sex matters. Like to me, that's like a vessel or a.
So it's almost like an emotional kind of like domination or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, considering that you're a virgin and I very much am not, like, we're off to the right start, I guess.
How is that?
I don't know, because there's like this element of like, oh, child.
I mean, that's certainly been on my mind before. The not really teacher-student, more like mentor-mentee dynamic. I mean, I guess it's a similar thing, but I like how we keep scaring people off. That's nice.
Yeah, we'd have to be careful not to get like too consumed with like the NI stuff, though. Like, I feel like if we lived on this island, I feel like things would go bad for us. Like we have to have like interaction with the outside world.
I feel like traveling abroad would be necessary at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there anywhere you want to travel?
I want to fucking travel everywhere. Like,
I don't know if I want to travel. I mean, like, there's some places I'm like
Like,
that looks shitty, that looks shitty.
in particular, I would like to go on kind of like almost like a pilgrimage of sorts to like ancient sites in India that are like real fucking old, and like trace like the history all the way from India like into like Persia and into the Middle East and stuff. Obviously not while it's like under siege or something, like you don't want to go into areas where there's like fucking fights going on for like people's survival, you know what I mean? But like
And just like Chinese forces up there, and you're like, these aren't the droids we're looking
I'd
for.
kind of want to go like on a trip that like starts in India and like visits like a lot of like ancient sites and like interesting places, and then goes through Persia and like and eventually like end up in Egypt, and I think that would be cool because that's just like an area that I feel a calling. Like I need to go to the northern part of India, and like I have to explore that place. There's something waiting for me there, and I have to go there. It's an NI thing. Like I have to go there at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you? You want to go places?
It's less like a calling, sort of thing. Although I think that'd be cool to visit different, like sacred sites or stuff like that, just to see what I like what my mind decided to pick up on.
Yeah, we should like fuck in the Great Pyramid. Can we do that?
Find like one of those really small chambers.
Yeah.
Chaos magic. No, I was gonna say, as far as like a sort of spiritual pool somewhere, I'd say primarily I'd say just different natural areas, like just being out in nature in different places.
A more naturalistic thing. So not so much about like what humans have done, but just like experience like a more untouched area of nature. Like,
yeah, I was going to say probably some places in North America, but then also Europe. I feel like a lot of
So here's the thing: while we're in northern India for my thing, we can also like go up and so like north of like Delhi and like all that kind of stuff. Like in the northern part of India, it's like you're more into like the Himalayas area. Some of that area is like pretty untouched and pristine. We could also hit up like national parks and stuff on a regular basis. That could be fun. We could go. Man, there's so many places in the world like that we wouldn't even know about. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's difficult for me to have this idea of like this is where I would want to go, because unless I've been somewhere, I don't know if I'd like it.
Yeah, we just have to feel it out. We would travel every once in a while and go different places, explore shit.
I was gonna say though, I feel like as far as internal archetypes go, I'm more drawn to I almost get a sense of like a late Ice Age sort of European feel.
Okay.
So
we could like maybe spend some time in Northern Europe, Iceland, Scandinavia kind of places, like maybe Siberia, go real hardcore.
I don't know so much about Siberia. I mean, like, as far as I mentioned, the internal archetypes thing, it's like, I think when I was younger, I really liked the idea of Cernunnos, as far as like deities went or stuff like that, which was...
Sorry, can you type that? I don't know what you're saying.
Cernunnos, really sort of
I'm not familiar with this.
Celtic deity that doesn't have a lot of history surrounding it, but it's sort of like an adaptation of the Greek.
All right, here's I have one rule. We have to avoid the Morrigan, okay? No, I don't fucking deal with the Morrigan, all right?
Why not the Morrigan specifically?
Just fucking crow people. Like, I just can't handle it, okay? I had a bad experience with this like shaman who's like obsessed with snakes and crows, and like the Morrigan and I do not get along. That's just right now.
What about Don?
I don't know. I'm not familiar.
Lord of the Underworld?
Sure.
Celtic.
Fine. Whatever.
Fine.
I don't know. I don't have an opinion one way or the other.
As far as archetypal animals go, it seems like you said you don't fuck with the crows, but is that snakes too?
Yeah, just because like man, that person is like, I don't know. Maybe I can get over it someday, but
no, Morrigan. Morrigan.
Yeah.
Is it now?
The horned god. So what is it about this? How do you pronounce the name again? Cernunnos?
Cernunnos.
Cernunnos. I'll have to try that again when I'm not drunk.
But no, I really don't know any of the history surrounding it, but I just saw a horned deity, and I don't know, it sort of spoke to me in a way.
Interesting.
I felt like for the majority of my life, I've either identified with satyrs or demons for one way or another.
Well, one thing is, like I'm comfortable enough with like, you know, Set and some of these like darker entities and stuff. Like, I don't know. I just have like a personal vendetta against the Morgan. It was just like it's such a like a dark time in my life, and like the person that was like obviously channeling them was like way just like, you know, my enemy. So it's kind of like hard to get past them.
I think that'd be great. It's like, oh yeah, I'm really into Celtic deities, except for the Morrigan. My husband really fucking hates the Morrigan.
This is like conversation's gonna be completely nonsensical to someone that like just observes it. They just like,
Fuck him.
it's funny because there was this guy I was watching on YouTube that was like, like I was kind of picking up what he was putting down, and then he was like, "I've decided I'm going to work with the Morgan," and I was like, "Oh my fucking god, what? Like, is this like, are you trying to like outmaneuver me right now, bitch? Like, what are you?" I was like, "How dare you!" Like.
Delayed confetti. What the fuck is this?
What's your true sexual orientation? Oh god. Attraction type it's like a grid. It's like
Orientation.
See, but none of this matters if you're spiritually compatible, man. I'm a trisexual. I'll try.
Like, it doesn't matter if we're not physically attracted to each other. I like strapping Zach down and pouring gravy on his face. But only Bob Evans sausage gravy, nothing else.
I think it would be healthy for a relationship to have occasional role reversals. So if you're into like the dominant thing, like, you know, I think we should switch it up every once in a while.
Mhm.
It's really healthy. Otherwise,
I feel like it's healthy for me to develop the dominant thing. I feel like it's enough of a presence sort of in my psyche that I would need to express it. But I also feel like in life, as far as being not dominant,
right. I feel like
it happens enough.
we'd have to cycle roles as appropriate. Like every once in a while, we'd have a discussion. It's like, how do you feel about your relation? You know, it would almost be like a ritual. Like changing of roles in order to like better suit whatever we're trying.
I'm good with that. One thing I'm not necessarily into is like humiliation type stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm not really into that either. So
like, it was like, well, one of the reasons why I've never gotten into femdom porn, like ever, it's because like the vast majority of it is like the woman calling him a little piece of shit or a bitch or something like that. I'm like, yeah, this isn't a turn on.
It's like a very different, like being dominated and being humiliated are two different things.
I probably wouldn't feel okay about it in the moment, but I'm saying right now I'd probably be down with being whipped. I'm not talking like, oh, you naughty boy, like clipper daddy shit, but like actually hardcore leaving marks.
Here's the thing, like, I feel like if we're going to take it to that level, like, we have to make it powerful, right?
Chaos sex magic.
Man, I'm getting excited. Oh, gosh.
You're saying this now, but I gotta wait until you're sober.
No, like earlier when I was like, you know, I've been thinking about you, Ken. Like, I wasn't joking.
Keep complimenting my joking. I'm like, just a minute, you wanted my pants.
I'm actually genuinely surprised that you're a virgin. I didn't expect that at all.
I keep waking up every day, and it's not like I'm expecting not to be a virgin. I'm just like, it's like I wake up every day. My virginity wasn't taken in my sleep. How strange.
Maybe your virginity has been taken by like some demon or something. Neptune's right. You've been tainted.
Been tainted. Attraction types. You know what really weirds me out is when like somebody claims to be a like for the instinctual type, they claim to be like a sexual type, but then like they said that they're asexual.
Yeah.
They
You know,
don't.
that's actually this is like some weird honesty right now. The reason I started thinking about you is because I got the vibe that you were like thinking about me.
Mm. Well, especially since you made that face.
Something about capturing me with your ultra balls or something like that.
I may have made that comment. It sounds like a comment I would make. I feel like I'm more like low-key flirt, maybe. I don't know. It's a different type of like. It's not like a peacocking sort of thing. It's like I'm just sort of sending out feelers, and I'm like, literally anybody that wants to pick up on this, here you go. I'm just handing it out like pamphlets.
You know, if that's really what you were doing and you're that thirsty, you have a much better approach than what's that other girl that like keeps coming in here that's like so desperate to get laid, like the more heavyset girl. What's her name? You know what I'm talking about?
I maybe, but I'm not contributing to this.
Well, earlier I told her, I was like, you are so thirsty. Like, she knows it too. She's just like, she tries way too hard. It like pushes everyone away.
Are you talking about Chloe?
Yeah, Chloe. Yeah.
I don't think she's serious, honestly.
I can't tell, like, with her. I'm like,
She's like giggling while she's typing.
I feel like it's unrelenting though. So there must be like an element of truth, right? She's always like.
I mean, I don't think she's desperate to get laid. Maybe you could say like she's like,
she's already
wants some sort of like.
I mean, she's already in a poly relationship.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I thought she said that she. No, whatever. I don't know.
I mean, although she was joking about that too.
She says many things within a week. I don't know.
She's an ENFP. They can't be trusted. But in response to the thing you were talking about, like I think SX just means intensity. I thought that too initially, but if that were true, then I'd be like a sexual type in some way. And the more I've studied it, there is an actual sexual component to it.
I actually haven't asked you, like, what do you do?
Me?
Yeah.
I scrub shit out of toilets.
That's okay. What? Do you...
Not for money, for fun.
Oh.
No, that's currently what I do. I'm trying to find a better job. That way I can support hobbies.
Do you have like what's, did you like go to college at all? Or did you like decide that, like, oh, that wasn't for you?
I went half a semester and was like, fuck this noise.
Dude, that's how I felt. But like, I also felt like that if I didn't stay in there, that like I wouldn't be able to like acquire the knowledge I needed. Unfortunately, it was like, this is catch-22. Like, I'm still miserable, like desperately trying to graduate. Like, I've put myself through like a lot of fucking pain and misery and debt just to achieve like a piece of paper, you know. Like,
Ken, sorry, just about the sexual thing. Like, so that's the only one that kind of has like a physical aspect to it.
No. Self-pres has a physical aspect to it. I mean, all three would play a role in, you know.
They would play a role in how someone expresses sexually, maybe if they're
like
in that context, you know. But like, it's not like exclusive to that context, you know.
Yeah, so self-pres is like more the like physical portion of it. It's like the actual like cuddling and like warmth and stuff like that of the other person. Social's much more focused on, you know, giving affection, or I'd say social's more focused on actual emotional intimacy, whereas the sexual instinct has more of like a vampiric quality to it, where it's like peacocking, like sort of peacocking and like displaying like one's sexual energy or stuff like that. Trying to attract mates. They may not always make sense, because like this one dude he's sexual dominant, and he was explaining. He was like, it's not like, hey, I'm gonna get involved in this because this is a really good idea. He's like, no, that's like not what's going through your head. It's like, obviously it's something instinctual, and it's like, I'd read somewhere that in societies where there's arranged marriages, it is conducive to more like societal structure and things like that, but it also produces populations that are more susceptible to epidemics. So the sexual instinct helps offset that, because it's like pheromonal attraction.
I mean, you could think about how like the showing your feathers, like peacock feathers, whatever, could like translate into other contexts, though. So like someone could be a sexual instinct and asexual, and it's just like manifested in other realms of their life.
Yeah, the guy I was listening to, the way he described it is he thinks that like object relations, as far as the sexual instinct goes, like manifesting it in other areas, it can be manifested to the extent that whatever you're manifesting it in can be anthropomorphized. And like his example was that he really loves like Egypt and talk about Egypt and different stuff like that. And somebody had made the comment to him, they're like, I can really appreciate how it's almost like you want to fuck Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly don't want to make it sound like, if you're not having sex, then you're not a sexual type or something like that, because he had made the mention that, like especially for like sexual dominance, like just because somebody's having sex doesn't mean that they're a sexual type or something like that, or like, it's sexual dominance are they would be very involved and concerned with questions of sexuality, and that might actually make it so that they're avoiding those things. The comment I had made about the asexuality thing, though, is like when people don't even seem to have it on their radar necessarily, and I think that's where the strong contrast is that for sexual dominance, it's on their radar, and if they're choosing not to, it's more of like a push against that. Whereas probably for like last types and maybe sexual seconds, I'm not so sure about them, but maybe for sexual last types, questions of like, is this the right partner, like our our energies meeting in the proper way or something like that, it's like a bit different. And honestly, that can get confused with social a bit too, because I feel like I'm sexual blind, and I kept thinking I was like sexual second or something like that, because I felt like I was engaging in those sorts of things, but I think I've confused certain energetic qualities with sexual when they're more like social sort of things.
I read that like for instance, fives who are sexual, they can often have like religious vows and like live lives of like isolation in that way. So I kind of threw me off with the comment you made about there being like a sexual component, because I don't know. I think that's
you're talking about taking vows, and I would imagine
it's like being married to like whatever deity, because you're so interested in the intensity of that, and it's almost like nothing on earth can really match that intensity or quite fulfill that need.
Yeah. I think I get that. And also it seems like the instincts are a lot more base, and then like rather than those being subtypes of Enneagram types, it seems like the instincts are more base, and then Enneagram types are manifestations of
that makes sense, actually.
So it's like, for me, I feel like I'm self-preservation. Self-preservation is concerned with questions of the self, who am I, things like that. It's concerned with questions of self-improvement, questions of like, how do I defend myself? How do I take care of myself? How do I build security or things like that? How do I take care of those in like my immediate circle or things like that? However, a self-preservation 8, like Audra or Taylor, they're more like go get them sort of thing. They go pursue things like that. They conquer in those areas. Whereas like self-preservation 9 is more worried that they don't have what it takes to sort of conquer in those areas, or that the contributions they'll have won't necessarily matter, or that especially when it comes to the primary sort of emotion of the gut triad, which is anger. Like 8s are more willing to utilize that anger towards their self-preservation ends, whereas the anger thing is suppressed for 9. So it's like, for me, it was almost difficult for me to identify as self-preservation, because I was like, well, if I am self-preservation, why am I not really taking care of my health? Why am I not, pursuing the things that I think would go along with self-preservation, like, taking martial arts classes, or like, learning like construction skills or things like that, things that would contribute towards my self-preservation. Like, why am I not pursuing those? And it's that, the way that manifests with Enneagram Type 9 is that, that there's a concern with those things, and then the Type 9 aspect is sort of the resignation of, okay, let's fall asleep to those concerns. Let's not focus on those. Let's sort of disperse our energy and sort of go into a dreamlike state and not really be present to like those fears or those concerns or things like that. So yeah, I think I get what you're saying with the 5 stuff.
Mm-hmm. Is that like almost like the most contradictory pairing of SX?
I'm sure they're of SX and 5.
Yeah. Like, are they kind of contradictory? Because
I'm not sure.
5 doesn't like really participate, but SX implies like active participation in some way. But I could be wrong about that.
I hear with 5s there is an issue of like almost like a confidence sort of thing. Like I've heard sexual 5s get described as like, like the confidence subtype. It's like wanting to be able to confide in somebody and like give them their secrets or things like that. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
That makes like total sense, actually. Because I'm like I don't confide in anyone really. But like I am always on the lookout for someone who would get something, that I could share.
But yeah, I feel like consciously, well, it's a combination of conscious and unconscious, but I feel like as far as the battle in my mind seems to go, it's more questions of self-preservation, who am I? What am I about? Clashing with this, well, what about others? There's this other question of not only others as in the people around me, but like this psychic entity known as other that is like ingrained in my super ego, that's like basically repeatedly bringing up the question of when it's in its negative form, it's not always in this form, but when it is negative, it's almost asking the question of, well, where do you get off pursuing your own needs in that way? It's like, well, whenever there's a drive towards self-preservation, there's this other voice that's like, well, now hold on. Why are you doing that? And it's got these other narratives or preferences to bring up. And I think that's more to the degree of it being unhealthy. And I think when it's more functional, it's, it is concerned with others and wanting to contribute to others. I definitely feel like it's concerned with, showing and utilizing affection and things like that. Whereas the sexual stuff, as I talked about, the reason why it's a blind spot, it's not that I'm not interested in sex. It's not that I don't, find sexual topics interesting. It's not that I'm turned off to it. It's that when people start talking about, different gradations of like sexual energy or different things like that, or like when it's being utilized in a real world situation, sometimes I'm not aware of those aspects as much. It's like, as I said, I can sort of put out my feelers and be like, hey, this is my sort of vibe. Is anybody picking up on this? I think that's easier because I have a 4-fix, which is concerned with, being sort of, Enneagram 4 is sort of concerned with its own sort of peacocking, not necessarily sexual, but there's that aspect of it. No, it's like sometimes in situations I've had other people be like, hey, they were really into you. I'm like, what?
Do you just assume that they're being nice to you or something?
Yeah, no. Actually, one thing that I thought was interesting is that it was talking about sexual blinds and how sometimes they can be surprised that somebody is actually showing interest in them. They'll be like, wait, what, me? I've struggled with that before, especially during my teenage years. I just assumed I was not sexy in any way at all, that if somebody was interested in me in that way, there must be something wrong with them.
Well, Ken, there may be things wrong with me, but
I relate to that. Like I would always think that someone was like trying to like pull something on me, like trying to either use me or like had some hidden motive. I don't know.
Right. And I think that's the thing where it can get sort of blurry. That's why I was trying to learn more about the instincts and whatnot, because as far as the descriptions go, it can get sort of blurry because I also identify with the social last description, which is like, they worry about social interaction, what it might cost them to get involved with new people. And I've certainly felt that before, but I don't think really, when I really think about it, I think I put sexual concerns on the back burner more, and it's more of a conceptual idea that I play with. But as far as the things that cause me sleepless nights, much more often concerned with self-preservation and social issues. I almost view it as like self-preservation is what I want, and social is almost like my demon. It's like it's been warped in a way that I almost feel like it's not my social instinct, but my anti-social instinct.
I actually kind of really resonate with that. Like, for me, like, the thing that always, like, tips me over the edge if I'm, like, entering a depressive period or whatever is, like, a really negative perceived social interaction. Like, that's always, like, the tipping point for me. Of, like, a period of negative, like, self analyzation and stuff. It's just like this. Yeah, I don't know. It's the thing that'll keep me like panicked, and I'll have like stress dreams about and stuff. Is like just interpersonal like relations. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. As far as the stacking goes, I'm utilizing the self-preservation social stacking currently. I'm not sure exactly how much stronger my social is than my sexual. And I'm not entirely sure, like, how much that matters in terms of, like, stacking or whatnot. I'm using air quotes as I'm saying that. But I definitely feel like social is sort of like my demon in a way, as I mentioned, but it's also clashed because social has its own view of self-preservation, which is that it's this base animal, or whatnot, or most of my fears are tied up in self-preservation. It said that your dominant instinct is where you're the most damaged. The reason why it's your dominant, the reason why you're concerned with it the most is because you have the most fears and hang-ups in that area. whereas the blind spot is much more of like a almost like a forgetful thing. And like when you do utilize that instinct